Hi Silem stars, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to make a lovely bubu dress with a stylish V neckline. This dress is actually trending at the moment and I decided to teach you guys how to make it from start to finish. So without further ado, let's get right into the video.
Oh, hey, I didn't see you there.
So the first thing I did was I folded my fabric once. As you can see, this is 2 yards of a mikado silk fabric, and then I'm folding my fabric again so I can cut my front and back pieces at the same time. Now at the top of the fabric I marked my shoulder line. Now if you look at this part of my fabric that is folded right here, this is the center front. Okay, now from the shoulder line downwards I marked how wide I want my sleeve to be. I want it to be 9 inches. Okay, now you want to decide how wide you want your sleeve to be. You can have 10 inches, 12 inches, depending on how big or small your round sleeve is. Now from the shoulder line, I just marked 23 inches, which is my hip line. And then I also marked the length of my dress, which is 37 inches. So I just marked those two lines, extended them as well. Now I marked my shoulder divided by 2, which is 7 inches. And then the length of my sleeve is 11 inches. You can decide for your sleeve to be longer than this, but if you want it to be longer than this, you have to use more than 2 yards. Now for my neckline, the width is 3 inches and the depth is 1.5 inches. So this is the back neckline. I'm going to mark the front neckline later. Now on the hip line, I divided the hip circumference by 4. I marked that, and then I added 4.5 inches allowance. Depending on how free you want your bubu dress to be, you can decide how wide you want it to be. Now once I have that measurement, whatever measurement I have on my hip, I just measured that on my hemline as well. So the same measurement on my hip line is what I measured on my hemline. Now from the edge of my fabric, I went in by 1 inch and then I drew a curve from that point all the way to the hip line, as you can see me doing right now. Now I'm going to just create a shoulder slope by drawing a diagonal line from that shoulder line to the edge of the fabric, and then I'm going to go ahead and just cut along the lines I marked. So like I said, this is the front and the back piece cut together. After cutting this, I'm going to go ahead and separate the front and back pieces so I can cut the front neck separately. Okay, so this is the back neck now cut out for both of them. Now after doing this, I'm going to go ahead and cut along the fold to separate the front and the back pieces completely. And now as you can see, I'm taking out one of the pieces and keeping the other one. So one of them is going to serve as my front piece. Now from the shoulder line downwards, I'm marking 10 inches. That's how low I want my neck to be. If you want yours to be 8 inches or 9 inches, just feel free to mark your desired neck depth. Now from the fold, I'm going in by 1 inch. Then I'm going to connect that point all the way to the width of the neckline with a diagonal line. So as you can see, this is not your regular V-neck. The reason why we're doing this is because of the stylish neckline that this bubu dress has. Okay, so when you cut it out, this is what you're going to have. Can you see? Now I'm going to place my back piece on top of my front piece with the right sides facing each other. Then I'll join the shoulders with 1/2 inch seam allowance. After joining, this is what we're going to have, and then I'll open it up so that I can go ahead and measure my neck. So I'm going to measure from this point here all the way around. If you notice, I'm not measuring the straight part of my V-neck. Okay, I'm not measuring the straight part, I'm just measuring around. Now after measuring this, I got 30 inches. Now I'm going to go ahead and mark 32 inches on my fabric because I added 2 inches to that neckline that I measured. Okay, 32 inches, and then the width of my fabric is 4 inches. Now this is what I'm going to use to pipe the neckline. It also gives that turtleneck look. If you look at this particular design, you're going to see that it has kind of like a turtleneck look. The collar of the neck is actually standing a bit, and this is what is going to give that effect. So make sure you add 2 inches to the length that you measured, and then make sure that the width is 4 inches. Now for that design on the chest, you're going to go ahead and cut a simple square. Now for this my square, I use 12 inches length and 12 inches width. You can also use 10 inches length and 10 inches width. Okay, So we're going to set that square aside, and then we're going to work on this piece first, which is for the neck. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to fold this in half lengthwise, and then I'm going to iron it flat. Okay, iron it flat. Now after ironing it, I'm going to place this on my neck, and then go ahead and pin it right sides facing with my neck all the way around. Okay, so just take your time to pin it all the way around the neck. Now make sure that as you're pinning this, you're not pinning this to the straight part of the V-neck, which is at the bottom of the V. Okay, can you see what it looks like now? So I'm just going to go ahead and sew around with half-inch seam allowance. Now after sewing, this is what it looks like. Can you see how beautiful it looks already? Now I'm going to go ahead and cut off any excess I have, and this is why it's important for you to add at least 2 inches when you're cutting this band, so that if you have any excess you can always cut it instead of it to be shorter than the actual neckline. Now the square I just cut out, I showed you earlier, I'm just going to go ahead and just fold all the edges with about ½ inch, and then iron it flat. If you have a hemming gum, you can also use your hemming gum to iron it so that it stays in place. So once you just iron it, to create the fancy design, all you have to do is just fold in one corner. Okay, can you see? Just fold in one corner of the circle, and to give you that fancy design, you can actually fold in 2 corners. You can even fold in all the corners. It will just give you a different design. Okay, so it all depends on the design you want. So once you're done, all you have to do is just pin it. Okay, pin it. Make sure you're pinning it only to the front piece. Pin it to the front piece, and then go ahead and sew it around. Now when you're sewing it, it's important that you sew it only on the front piece. Okay, make sure that you don't sew it on the back piece as well. Now after sewing it, all you have to do is just turn the piece to the wrong side, and then join the sides, the front and the back together. Join them by the sides with 1 inch seam allowance. Okay, and this is what it looks like, guys. So easy. I'm going to show you guys what it looks like on me. So this is it, guys. This is what it looks like on me. I really love how this turned out. As you can see, I did not like the dress short, so I had to join back that piece that I cut out, and then I put a fancy design to cover that joining. Okay, and I really love the long version. Let me know in the comment section if you found this video helpful. Bye.